been like 2 decades since I've seen this person, so it's really hard for me to tell, but he has similar teeth and he's got similar pointed ears and also dark eyebrows and dark hair, and looks very similar to this guy that I was forced to webcam with, who sexually terrorized me and made me insecure and made me feel like there was no safety at all because he had seen the videos of me in the child pornography and was like turned on by it. It's just really confusing, okay? Because like in one of the videos where I was like 4, I like was it's really dark and fucked up, but I was like forced to give fellatio to a bunch of men, and one of them cried, and then the guy that I was on webcam with at 8 said that he was that guy, and so I felt an emotional connection to that guy because that was the only person that ever cared about me, like, and actually showed that they were distressed about me. And this guy that I had to webcam at 8 said that he was this guy, but said that he had watched my child porn films and that he was turned on by it now. And then the guy that I'm with now looks a whole lot like him and has like the big teeth and stuff, and because I've been sexually conditioned to like the noise hee-haw, he's got big teeth like a donkey, so that's why I'm thinking that I was sex trafficked to him and that he's actually the hitman and he's gonna end up shooting me essentially. I'm not sure. They basically told me that I was psychic because I was having like grown like adult sex with people, you know? They like were convincing me that I was gaining psychic powers and that I was hearing other people's voices when I had sex with them because I was spiritually connected to them at that point. That's like how this cult ran. It's some pretty dark shit, and so they basically have tried to paint me out as like schizophrenic. I know I've mentioned that before, but yeah, they've tried to paint me out as schizophrenic, and I'm not. They've used mental health and psychology basically to manipulate. That's basically what they are doing, because they're trying to create some kind of like cult like militia situation. And then you should probably also know this, that James Gunn was like intentionally like white supremacist programming me and making me, he said one time that I was his slave because I had green eyes, and that because he had blue eyes, I was always going to be the slave to people that had blue eyes, but people with brown eyes were my slave. So he was like actively doing like white supremacist programming, and so were my parents. My parents were all about that shit. They were like actively instilling white supremacist ideology in me. I can only assume that like everybody else involved had that happen and then felt like the humanity of having been tortured and was like, I don't want to be a white supremacist, like this is fucked up. He made me go through all of the emotions, and then at the very end of it was like, but like I think it's hot now, you know? But like before he was like the guy that was upset and like super distressed by it, but then like to scare me was like, but I think it's hot now and you're gonna do what I say kind of deal. And it's unfortunate because it definitely seems like it might be the guy that I'm currently with. If that's the case, that kid was also tortured. Like he was tortured too, but like also I think he unfortunately gets his power from potentially seeing other people being tortured and making them like his slave kind of deal. So yeah, I'm like keeping an eye on him, but like I'm not 100% sure it's like the same guy because he's like so much older. He was 16 when this webcam thing, and now he would be like 36, you know what I mean? So I don't know if it's the same guy or not, but it sure fucking looks like him, and it sure seems like everybody else that I've had to interact with has been like semi-planned out by my family and stuff, because my family is like this cult, so they've been planning to like sex traffic me and stuff like that for like years and stuff, by pretending that I was just having consensual sex with people, but like people that they wanted to like kind of infiltrate. So like this like very wealthy family, they basically were telling me that I had to have sex with this kid like when I was really small, and he wanted to sex traffic me and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I actually know a lot about the Kim Kardashian Pete Davidson thing. Pete Davidson, like I definitely like had to do some fucked up shit to him when we were really little, like 4 or something like that. And like cattle prods might have been involved, but I also feel like my dad might have lied to me and said that this kid that sexually assaulted me when I was 8 and he was also 8 was this same kid. So I honestly don't know. But the whole reason that he's dating Kim Kardashian is because he feels justified in dating her because, basically what I did to this other girl that was like sexually torturous was like super, super fucked up, okay? It was like really, really dark and really, really fucked up. I was 8 years old and I was interested in periods and I was interested in reproduction, I think, and I cut her genitalia and like cut her clitoris off, I think. They had Pete Davidson and Colson come like sexually assault me and like sexually hypnotize me and sex program me or whatever, basically to get revenge for that girl. What they didn't tell like Pete and everybody and Colson was like the Harvey, like I don't know if they told them about Harvey Weinstein, but my dad said that Colson was sent by Harvey Weinstein, so I honestly don't know, but Harvey Weinstein happened before I did this to this girl. Like I had already been raped by the time I did this to this girl, okay? And I was only 8 years old. When Pete Davidson came to my house and like basically sexually assaulted me and like raped me essentially, you know. He said that I was obsessed with Princess Jasmine, like super obsessed with Princess Jasmine. That was my favorite Disney princess. And he basically was like shooting me down on everything that I wanted to do, because I kept saying to my family that I was going to be on SNL. I kept saying to my family that I was going to do this and that, and that I was going to be like famous. So when he came to town, he said that he was going to be on SNL, basically that I could go fuck myself, and that he was going to date the real Princess Jasmine. So that's basically what he's doing with Kim Kardashian, is he's dating the real Princess Jasmine. And that's why there's like such a spark there, is because he's like doing it because he thinks he's like saving the day essentially. But I will tell you that like when they were like sexually conditioning me and like hypnotizing me and sexually assaulting me, they both did cry like really, really hard. So they were definitely upset about it. So it was like child porn for them too, you know? And the fact that Harvey Weinstein and my dad elicited them to come when they were also children is like super, super dark and fucked up. That girl's family, they made me like orgasm in front of her dad after this happened too, to punish me. And then they had a brain surgery, or a mock fake brain surgery, where I got raped and I got like sexually assaulted by this like old guy, because they were mad at me, still about what had occurred with this girl. It honestly doesn't surprise me that they weren't posted, because I think everybody that's been involved in this like knows that like right now is when I'm like coming forward and piecing things together. Like right now, I know that like the people that are involved are not gonna want like anyone to see this video and stuff like that, because there's just like a whole bunch of shit that goes into it that has to do with mind control and ideas of power. And people that were involved in this also want to fucking take down everybody else that was involved. Like we've been like basically trained and manipulated into believing that. I know that they like don't want to like talk about it because they're also trying to go after these people that were also involved. I know that like posting comments, they're probably gonna get removed, like, but we can still try, you know. As far as other names, when I was like torturing other kids, we were all like 4. So I don't even remember half of their names, dude. I don't even remember half of the people. I know that maybe my brother and sister might be able to elaborate on details. Technically, they're both my brothers. One of them has transitioned. There is a girl who I know is aware of like all of the things that have happened to me, but I don't know if I should give out her name right now, because she's also the person that I like hurt a lot. She's the same girl that I really hurt when I was 8 years old. So I know she knows everything that's going on, but I also don't think that she's going to be willing to talk, because I know that after this happened, she said that she didn't care, and that like it's like kind of like a hit for her. And I also know that her parents are involved too. The only information about her is that I can tell you is that she grew up in the same neighborhood as me. Yeah, I think that just the more support that I get and the more people like are aware of this, the more we can kind of light like a fire up under their ass. And it's interesting because I reached out to Pete Davidson's new Instagram and he's been blocking me. He's just been blocking me, just straight up blocking me. Doesn't want to talk about it. I don't give a fuck, like he's gonna have to talk about it. So, you know, yeah, he's just been straight up blocking me. As far as like all of the other people involved, like I was only 4 when I was like meeting most of these people, right? So I don't even know, like there could be like other celebrities, dude. Like I'm kind of thinking that Amber Heard might be one of them because my dad said something about like having her sex trafficked to Johnny Depp. Okay, and I'm not accusing Johnny Depp of being a sex trafficker, but I am accusing somebody of introducing them or implanting the idea into her head that that's who she needed to go for, okay? And one of these people may have been Amber Heard. She's from Austin, Texas, and that's where my dad is from also. So one of these girls that like was being tortured could have been Amber Heard, and it could have been done by my dad, which is like why the whole Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing is going on in the first place, because she was originally traumatized by somebody like my dad and somebody that looks like my dad. Okay, so like she might have been one of the 4-year-olds that was involved in this. I don't know how old she is, but she might have been involved. Yeah, Megan is definitely a fucking victim. Any 13-year-old that has to witness a 6-year-old getting raped by Harvey Weinstein is absolutely a victim, in my opinion. Yeah, Pete Davidson blocking me, I mean, whatever, dude. You know, he just went to the White House and I've been in contact with the CIA about him, so like he might have been questioned by the CIA, so he might just be blocking me because he doesn't want to have like a back and forth between me and him before like the actual government can figure this out, you know? So I'm like kind of understanding about that. So I understand where he's coming from with that. He's trying to keep things like pretty hush hush because this might involve like a whole bunch of people. So I completely understand, but like I'm still gonna come forward and say like my piece of the story. It'll probably like alert a lot of the people that are involved in this to be secretive, but like it also needs to be heard. As far as Megan Fox looking like Kim Kardashian is concerned, I don't really have a comment on that. I think it just, the Kardashians like got so big, you know, and that they're all very stylish, very sleek people, and once you hit your 30s, that's kind of like the style that you go for anyways, like mature, sleek, and I don't know, put together. So I don't really have any comment on that, but I do think her insecurities came from other people that may have known about the Harvey Weinstein thing, and I think she's been trying her best to like pick up on like who's giving her those insecurities and stuff like that, and I don't think it comes from just comments. I think it comes from actual real people in her life and like other directors. Like she went after Michael Bay, dude. There really actually might be like a lot of directors that like may have been involved in this stuff. When it comes to her, I completely understand like why she's gone about it the way that she has, but I think it's time that like people like, I don't know, you know, I think it's time that we call it quits on a lot of the brainwashing, because clearly only Harvey Weinstein has gone to jail and Jeffrey Epstein, and a lot of these other people that may have been involved in this like have not gone to jail yet, but they're like investigations. So I think it's time to like let the federal government actually take control instead of being paranoid that they're involved. Some people on my Instagram know who I am, and then some people only like found me randomly. So there are some people that like genuinely do know who I am in real life, but not many. You know, there's probably like maybe 50 people that know me in real life on my Instagram. The rest of them are just like random people who have added me or like bots or whatever. So yeah, so you could probably ask like some of them about who I was, but a lot of them are really not going to know details unless they knew who I was like at 8 years old. They're really not going to know very many details. Like only people that like know me from my early childhood are going to even remotely be able to catch you up on like some of the other details in my life and like maybe their opinions of what they saw. Also, as far as Megan is concerned and like her like rituals and like the Machine Gun Kelly drinking blood thing, I honestly do not believe that Megan Fox or Machine Gun Kelly like believe in satanic ritual abuse by any stretch of the imagination. What they're doing right now is just like kind of joking around about it to like get in better with the people who are responsible for this fucked up shit, if that makes sense. So they like joke, it's like kind of a joke to them, like it's a ritual to them, but like it's also a joke, you know? They're also like playing pretend with it because they know that other people are into that hardcore ritual satanic shit. So they're just like doing it kind of for like fun, you know what I mean? So it's really not like, I really truly do not believe that they're doing it with satanic intentions. They're doing it to take a spin off of the satanic people in Hollywood, if that makes sense. And to make the people in Hollywood think that they are also into that satanic shit, so they will communicate to these people like what they're about, essentially, so they can get a better grasp on like who all is involved, because a lot of powerful people are involved and they all know it. So anyone that was a kid that was like raised in this environment knows like how many powerful people are involved, which is probably why Colson and Megan are probably like super mad that I'm coming out now with this, because they like feel more powerful than ever to like catch all the snakes, if that makes sense. But unfortunately, it really just needs to be it really needs to be said, you know what I mean? Like, this needs to be talked about. Like, I need to come out. Like, I know that their intention is to catch other people in this shit, but like really, like, we need like the cops to actually do that, you know? Like, I understand that like they believe that they have like other powers and other means to like catch these people, but like really, like it's that serious. And then Amber Heard, dude, I know for a fact that my dad knew who she was when I was like maybe 11. He was talking about Amber Heard, and he was talking about how they were gonna sex traffic her to Johnny Depp, okay? So whatever director or whatever film she was in with Johnny Depp, that person or somebody on the set or somebody involved knew that that was what was gonna happen, okay? And so they probably also were like filling Johnny Depp's head with like ideas about her, and filling her head with ideas about him, because chances are Amber Heard is also a victim of some kind of like really fucked up shit also. If my dad knew who she was, she probably is a victim of something really fucked up and dark also. But I don't know. All I know is that my dad knew who she was and was saying that she was gonna get sex trafficked to Johnny Depp, which probably is why she fucking lashed out in the way that she did. I honestly don't think she's trying to be sneaky or being snake-like. I think she's super traumatized from the past, and I think people have filled her head with all kinds of ideas about how she has no control and no power and all kinds of shit. You know, the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing, I don't know what went on behind closed doors, but I also know that my dad was saying that they were gonna sex traffic her to Johnny Depp. So, and he was saying that shit when I was 11, and that she was like kind of like me, is what my dad said. And that people were gonna think I was like her, essentially. So, yeah, because people like to gang up on girls that are like as pretty as Amber Heard, you know, and Megan Fox, you know, and Kim Kardashian. People like to attack those people and like to rob them of things because people think that they are undeserved because they are so pretty. The more Colson, Pete, and Megan seem satanic and seem like they're about ritual abuse, the stronger they become, because the stronger it is for them to infiltrate the people that actually are. And I know that at a young age, all of us were taught that there were a lot of motherfuckers that were out to get us, and like a lot of motherfuckers that have a lot of money that were okay with us being tortured and other people being tortured and children being tortured and all kinds of shit, dude. So I know that these people are like on that shit, you know? I know that that's what they're doing. So I like kind of don't want to intervene in that, because I want them to have enough power to do that and to take people down, because I think that's what they deserve. But I also think I deserve to be able to speak like the full entirety of my truth, you know? I think like I'm allowed to do that. So I just hope it doesn't compromise them, you know? But I'm hoping that like what happens is that like people start going to the cops and stuff like that. And I've been super honest, like I'm willing to like sit down with law enforcement for months and months on end and be interrogated like it is my job without a lawyer present, take polygraphs. I will do any of that shit, dude. They can interrogate me for 14 hours a day for months if they want to. For months. They can hardcore interrogate me. That is how serious I believe this shit is. That's how serious I am about this shit, and that's how honest I am about this shit, that this stuff really actually needs to be conveyed. I want to clarify and say that I at least believe Machine Gun Kelly. Like, I think that he at least is coming from a place of like not actually like getting like fucking empowered by like these like ritual things or whatever, and that Megan Fox is like convincing him that it's like bringing them closer or whatever. And I believe that they're actually drinking each other's blood. Like I do believe that they are actually doing that, but I think the greater reason behind why they're doing that is so they can appear to be more like the people who are actually satanic, who are actually super fucking dark, who actually want to torture other human beings, and who want to have like slaves, and who want to utilize other people for weapons, essentially. So I'm not saying that they're not drinking each other's blood, but they're doing it so they can appear more like the really fucked up people in Hollywood. As far as Angelina Jolie is concerned, I don't know, my dad used to talk about her a lot, but I don't know anything about her. I don't know anything about her past. I have no idea. Like, nothing about her was ever mentioned about being sex trafficked, being tortured, nothing like that. So I have no idea when it comes to her. All I know is Amber Heard, she came up and my dad said that she was going to be sex trafficked to Johnny Depp, and that was it. Those are like the only names, I think. So there's a lot of people that like really like are from like the same area as me, but have not been mentioned at all by my family or by anyone that I've been around. So these are the only people that like, as things come up and as they like start, you know, like they're more apparent in the public eye, I'm like, oh, I remember when my dad said this. And I also know that Megan Fox laughed a lot when I was raped by Harvey Weinstein, but I also know that she was really disturbed at some points also. So I imagine that she, as she's matured, has grown more disturbed by it, you know what I mean, and feels less powerful than they made her feel by watching that. So I don't know. I can only hope that she's like grown up and matured. She did get her Marilyn Monroe tattoo removed, and that's what they like said when I was like being raped by Harvey Weinstein, that like Megan Fox was now Marilyn Monroe and I wasn't Marilyn Monroe or something like that. Weird shit like that. So yeah, I think honestly the whole reason that Amber Heard lashed out at Johnny Depp is because she felt like something was off about the relationship. Like she was controlled into being in the relationship in the first place. Like she felt like something was fucking weird about it, you know? And she rightfully should have felt like something was weird about it, because people intentionally had them linked up. So that director of that movie that she was in with Johnny Depp should be seriously questioned by the FBI. He should be seriously questioned by the FBI. And again, I want to clarify this. I'm not accusing Johnny Depp of having any knowledge that Amber Heard was being sex trafficked to him. I'm not saying that at all, or being intentionally, deliberately set up with him. Not saying that at all. I do not believe he had knowledge, but I do believe that they have intentionally done an effort to draw these two people against each other and to control the trajectory of Amber Heard's life in particular, and using Johnny Depp as a pawn to do that. So I believe this lawsuit that's going on right now should be done with, because who should be sued is the director of that movie that Johnny Depp and Amber Heard were in. That's who should be sued right now, because these two, I don't believe, had any idea that this is what these people's intention is. Yeah, his name is Bruce Robinson, and he should be questioned thoroughly by the Central Intelligence Agency, in my opinion. I think it's that serious that the CIA has to question that fucking piece of shit. And also, I want to mention this thing as well. Regardless of whether or not Amber Heard and Johnny Depp found a natural attraction to each other during the set of that movie, that does not mean that they weren't intentionally put in that movie together to foster that intentionally, so people could feel like they could direct other people's lives. It's kind of like a weird little like fetish thing that's going on in Hollywood, where directors like fetishize their actors and they want to control the trajectory of their actors' lives, and they want to be able to predict the future for these actors and control the future for them. So it's a fetishistic thing. That's exactly what they wanted to do, and they wanted her to always feel evil too. They wanted her to feel evil, like she had darkness in her soul, all kinds of shit, dude. They wanted her to feel like shit so they could have better control over her emotions and the trajectory of her acting career. It's some really fucking dark shit, dude, and she needs to be fucking free from that. Regardless of what I say to her on Instagram, that's between me and her, okay? That's literally between me and her. Nobody else is allowed to say that shit other than me. You know what I mean? I'm the only person that can come at her and be like, hey, bitch, I remember when you left. You know what I mean? Because I also remember when she cried too. And that's what other people should focus on, is the fact that she was forced to witness this because they wanted to make her feel like an evil psycho bitch. And that's disgusting. That's fucking repulsive. And it eventually probably turned her into somebody that wanted to kill motherfuckers like Harvey Weinstein. And I think she deserves to feel like that.